Korea's economy in the 1960s was in shambles, to say the least, after the bloody Korean War. Double-digit economic growth from the 1960s to the 80s arose from the sheer determination of its people to improve their lives. But all this could not have been done without the foreign funds and investments needed to build the infrastructure which set the stage for industrialization. In the early 1960s, President Park Chung-hee explored ways to rebuild Korea and came up with the solution to dispatch Korean miners and nurses to work in Germany. Although the Korean miners and nurses encountered hardships, their individual efforts and sheer determination paid off in the form of increased foreign investments, development funds, and new cultural encounters. In 1963, South Korea and Germany signed a labor recruitment agreement stating Korea would provide Germany with laborers to work as miners and nurses. The collective Korean term for the miners and nurses sent in accordance to the agreement is 파독근로자. In return, the 파독근로자 would be paid for their efforts, and Germany would provide necessary funds for Korea's industrialization. Korea sent 7,936 miners to Germany from 1963 to 1977, and 11,057 nurses from 1965 to 1976. After World War II, Germany underwent rapid economic reconstruction and needed labor to drive its industrialization. Moreover, Korea and Germany were in similar political situations, as they were both at risk of attack from communist nations. Foreign currency was of great value in Korea due to Korea's suffering economy, and the foreign currency the 파독근로자 brought back to Korea amounted to around US $50 million, accounting for 2% of Korea's gross national product. Miners earned 10,000 marks per month, or in Korean currency 50,000 won, greater than the salary of a banker in Korea during that period. Typically, the 파독근로자 sent 80% of their earnings back to Korea, where their family members were able to acquire an education, get jobs, and contribute to the development of the country. In addition, annual Korean exports initially below $100 million rapidly rose to $10 billion per year. Korea is considered the first nation to gain great economic success in such a short period of time. Moreover, according to the former miners sent to Germany, Korea was the first to take a shovelful of foreign exchange. The South Korea-Germany Labor Recruitment Agreement was Korea's first wave of manpower export and one of the first times it participated in international labor. After the Korean War, Korea was heavily sheltered by the United States. This changed, however, after President Park Chung-hee came to power and Korea-US relations faltered due to Park's authoritarian regime, and President Kennedy would not allow the US to lend money to South Korea. Eager to reconstruct Korea's economy, Park explored different ways to make Korea more economically successful, and the South Korea-Germany Labor Recruitment Agreement was a major step forward in this regard. More international manpower exports that brought foreign currency for Korea ensued, such as civil construction projects in Vietnam during the Vietnam War, and engineering and labor projects in the Middle East in the 1970s. The Labor Recruitment Agreement, according to Professor Michael E. Robinson of Indiana University, began the exchange of labor and technology for experience and capability, as well as capital, an essential part of Korea's economic development.
어느 정도는 각오를 한 거죠. 독일 떠나기 전에는 강원도 탄광에 가서 실제로 이제 실습을 하고.
The 파독근로자 undoubtedly experienced multiple physical and emotional hardships in Germany. The majority of Korean citizens believed the encounters faced by the 파독근로자 to be strenuous feats. But was life in Germany really as difficult as people believe?
힘들 것은 없었고 말이 좀 해가지고 우리가.
In addition, many Koreans believe the 파독근로자 sacrificed their own safety and happiness for the sake of Korea's well-being. However, life in Korea after the Korean War was equally as tough, if not more so.
그 당시로 우리나라가 너무나 못 살았기 때문에 지금 현재하고 비교를 하면 안 돼요.
For some of the miners and nurses, moving to Germany changed their lives for the better.
그 독일에서 받는 보수라든지 또 보수 문제뿐 아니라 그 어떤 막연한 동경 같은 것도 많았죠, 저희한테는. 그래서 정말 외국에 나가볼 수 있는 기회는 그때는 생각도 못 했었는데 여기를 계기로 해가지고 그 해외 구경을 할 수도 있었고 돈도 벌 수 있었고 그런 점들이 되게 매력적으로 느껴졌어요.
When the Koreans first embarked on their journey to Germany, nobody expected them to settle into German society. Although cleaning and other types of menial work were sometimes difficult for the young Korean nurses, The truth is that the young German nurses were required to complete the same type of work. But through their outstanding diligence, the Korean nurses began to gain respect among the German community and earned the nickname Korea Angels. Guest workers from Turkey, Morocco, and other neighboring countries also came to Germany during the 1960s but didn't assimilate as easily as the Padokuroja. In 1977, Korean nurses led public protests against the German government order forcing Koreans to return to Korea after their contracted period of work. However, with the help of public opinion, the government nullified the order. Koreans began to marry Germans, raise families, and enroll their children into German schools. Only a minority of Koreans went back to Korea. Most chose to either stay in Germany or move to countries like the United States or Canada. Some were even able to permanently escape the poverty they suffered back in Korea and pursue an education. What started as a labor recruitment agreement became a cultural encounter and the beginning of a new life.
나는 독일에 참 잘 갔다고 생각하고
네, 그랬을 것 같아요. 그리고 지금 생각해도 참 소중한 나에게 아주 내 삶에 소중한 한때를 그때 보냈다라고 생각을 하죠.
그때로 돌아간다면은 그렇지.
영원한 애국인입니다. 이렇게 말할 수 있어요. 왜냐하면은 한국에 와도 당분간은 내가 무슨 독일에서 온 외국인 같은 그런 느낌을 가졌던 거지.
독일을 더 잘하죠. 여기서는 한국말을 못 해가지고.
Moreover, there has been debate about whether non-government organizations should provide pensions to the Padokuroja decades after their service. But is this really necessary?
예, 저는 충분하다고 생각했어요. 왜냐하면은 그 당시로 이제 거의 10배 정도의 우리 한국에 한 10배 정도의 월급을 받는다고.
Society also interprets the labor of the Padokuroja as an act of pure patriotism. The government intended to fuel Korea's economy, but this was not the main motivation for the Padokuroja behind their decision to go to Germany. Most of them had individual aims.
우리가 조금이라도 꿈을 살리기 위해서 내가 공부도 좀 더 해보고 싶고 또 더 큰 나라도 보고 싶고 이렇게 하기 위해서는 나가야 된다라는 그런 결정을 했었죠. 그래서
자기 가족을 위해서 갔지. 그때는 몰랐지. 나라에서 하도 못 살았으니까 이제 첫째 가족이지. 가족을 먹여 살리고. 그래서 우리가 거기서 돈을 벌어가지고 다 보냈어요. 이 한국으로. 그래서 우리가 달러 애화가 많아가지고 이제 여기 경제 발달 부흥이 됐죠.
It was these individual efforts and motivations which culminated into an effect that spurred Korea's economy and fulfilled the government's purpose. In 1776, Adam Smith, an economist, wrote, "Every individual is continually exerting himself to find out the most advantageous employment for whatever capital he can command. It is his own advantage indeed, and not that of the society which he has in view. But the study of his own advantage naturally, or rather necessarily, leads him to prefer that employment which is most advantageous to society. He intends only his own gain, and he is in this, as in many other cases, led by an invisible hand to promote an end which was not part of his intention."
발전이 너무 많이 된 거죠. 그래서 이제 세계에서도 다 한국은 기적을 만든 나라.
Korea has gone through one of the most dramatic and inspirational economic makeovers in history. The Korean miners and nurses sent to Germany, or Padokuroja, had a significant role as they brought much-needed foreign funds to galvanize Korea's economy and were the beginning of a history of labor dispatchment. In addition, their perseverance, diligence, and work ethic brought newfound respect for Korean laborers in the international market, which fueled foreign investments. Not only did the Padokuroja contribute towards Korea's economy, but some were able to bring themselves and their families out of poverty, encounter new culture, and start new lives. The individual efforts the Korean miners and nurses made for themselves and for their families can be described as a butterfly effect and ultimately becoming the stepping stone for the expansion of Korea's economy.